You've probably grown up hearing that honesty is always the right choice, that telling the truth is some kind of guaranteed path to respect and success. It sounds good, simple, reassuring, but that's not how the real world works. Reality is rougher than that, more calculated, less forgiving. Because the truth is, being honest all the time isn't always brave. Sometimes it's just careless. This isn't about turning into someone who lies for no reason. It's about being deliberate, knowing when honesty actually helps you and when it puts you at a disadvantage. It's about seeing clearly your priority isn't some perfect ideal. It's staying steady, protecting yourself, and keeping control over your situation. So here's the uncomfortable part. There are moments when lying isn't just useful. It's the smarter choice. Let's talk about the 7 situations in which not telling the truth will benefit you instead of exposing you. If you've been following the channel for a while but not a subscriber yet, hit those like and subscribe buttons now to stay tuned. Now let's dive in. 1. When the truth would hand your leverage to someone who hasn't earned it. Picture this. Someone asks you a direct question about your plans, your weaknesses, or your next move. And you know instinctively that answering honestly would give them an advantage over you. This is where most people fold. They think, well, I should be honest, otherwise I'm being deceptive. No, you're being careless. Stoicism teaches you to guard what is within your control, and information, especially about your intentions, is one of your most valuable assets. Machiavellian thinking sharpens that idea. Never give away leverage for free. If someone hasn't demonstrated loyalty, alignment, or necessity, they are not entitled to your truth. A carefully placed lie, or at least a distortion, becomes a shield, not a weapon. Because once information leaves your mouth, it stops belonging to you. 2. When honesty would cause unnecessary harm without any strategic benefit. There's a difference between truth that serves a purpose and truth that just satisfies your urge to be real. Let's say someone asked for your opinion, and your honest answer would crush them. Not constructively, not usefully, just destructively. Here's the uncomfortable question. Who benefits from that truth? If the answer is no one, then you're not being virtuous. You're being indulgent. Stoicism emphasizes control over impulse, and one of the most underrated impulses is the need to say exactly what you think. You don't have to. A lie in this context can act as a buffer, preserving relationships, maintaining stability, and preventing damage that serves no strategic purpose. Brutal honesty is often just poorly disguised laziness. 3. When you are dealing with someone who operates in bad faith. Here's a hard truth. Not everyone deserves honesty. If someone consistently manipulates, deceives, or exploits others, then engaging them with full transparency is like bringing a rule book to a street fight. Stoicism tells you to accept reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. And Machiavellianism takes that one step further. Adapt your behavior to the nature of the opponent. If they lie, distort, and maneuver, then insisting on honesty doesn't make you principled. It makes you predictable, and predictability is vulnerability. In these cases, lying becomes a form of self-defense. Not excessive, not reckless, just enough to avoid being outmaneuvered by someone who has no intention of playing fair. 4. When revealing the truth would compromise a long-term objective. Short-term honesty can sabotage long-term success. Think about negotiations, career moves, competitive environments, moments where your true intentions, if revealed too early, would invite resistance or interference. This is where strategic concealment, sometimes outright lying, becomes necessary. Stoics are often misunderstood as passive or overly transparent, but at their core, they are deeply pragmatic. They focus on outcomes aligned with reason and purpose. And Machiavellian strategy is built on timing, knowing not just what to say, but when to say it. If telling the truth now prevents you from achieving something meaningful later, then withholding or bending it isn't betrayal, it's sequencing. You're not obligated to reveal your endgame while you're still playing the opening moves. 5. When social harmony depends on a controlled version of reality. Let's be honest, society itself runs on small, mutually accepted distortions. Politeness, diplomacy, tact, these are all forms of curated truth. Nobody actually says everything they think all the time, because that would make normal human interaction unbearable. So when you soften an opinion, hide irritation, or give a socially acceptable answer instead of a brutally accurate one, you're not being fake. You're participating in a system that allows people to coexist without constant friction. Stoicism encourages emotional discipline, and part of that discipline is choosing which truths are worth expressing. Machiavellianism adds another layer. Perception matters as much as reality. Sometimes the version of truth that maintains order is more valuable than the raw truth that disrupts it. 6. When you need time to think and the truth would lock you into a premature position. People often demand immediate answers, decisions, opinions, commitments. And in those moments, telling the truth might mean admitting uncertainty, hesitation, or lack of clarity, which can weaken your position or pressure you into a corner. So instead, you buy time. You say something that isn't fully true, but also isn't fully false. A strategic placeholder that keeps your options open while you figure things out. This isn't about deception for gain. It's about resisting forced timelines. Stoicism values thoughtful judgment over reactive behavior, and Machiavellian thinking reinforces the importance of controlling the pace of engagement. If someone is rushing you, it's usually because speed benefits them, not you. A well-placed lie can slow the game down. 7. When your safety, physical, emotional, or strategic, is at risk. This is the most straightforward one, and arguably the most important. If telling the truth puts you in danger, whether that's physical harm, manipulation, exploitation, or serious loss, then honesty is not a virtue. It's exposure. You don't owe truth to someone who can weaponize it against you. Stoicism teaches resilience, yes, but not recklessness. You're not required to walk into harm just to prove you're honest. And Machiavellianism is crystal clear on this. Survival comes first. In these moments, lying is not just acceptable, it's necessary. Here's the uncomfortable balance you have to strike. If you lie too easily, you lose integrity, trust, and eventually control of your own narrative. But if you tell the truth blindly, without regard for context, power dynamics, or consequences, you become predictable. And predictable people get used, bypassed, or broken. The goal is not to become dishonest. The goal is to become precise, to understand that truth is a tool, incredibly powerful, but not universally applicable, and to recognize that sometimes the strongest position you can take is not to reveal what is real, but to control what is seen. Because in the end, both Stoicism and Machiavellianism agree on one thing, even if they arrive there differently. You are responsible for how you navigate reality, not for conforming to a simplified version of it. And sometimes navigating it well means knowing exactly when not to tell the truth. If today's Stoic wisdom with a hint of Machiavellianism has resonated with you, like and subscribe for more. Thank you.